It's a beautiful good evening to you, viewers of My Media Prime Television, and thank you so much for accepting to host us in your different areas of comfort via the medium of your television sets. It is Prime Sports, the first edition for the year 2022, and yes, with much gladness and happiness, we are joining you today to talk about the roads that are no longer leading to Cameroon. Guess what? The roads are ready to Cameroon and now lead to the different stadiums hosting games for the Total Energies 2021 Africa Cup of Nations coming up in just a couple of days, and Cameroon is boiling up to that fever as we build up to the continental football extravaganza. Well, we shall be looking at all the build up to that, the group stages, yes, of course, the iconic players as well, and the best of teams. In today's edition of the program, we equally shall be looking at the list, the final list of Antonio Conceição da Silva Oliveras of the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. And guess what? We also are taking a look at the favorite teams as far as the 2021 Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations is concerned. Yes, back in Cameroon, we also are looking at the reinstatement of the veteran General Pierre Semenge by the new president of Cameroon Football Federation, Samuel Eto'o, and also the return of Elite One football in the country with a very big cash prize. All of that and more is certainly going to be part of today's edition of the program. But for that to happen, we got the best of brains as far as sports is concerned, not only in Cameroon, not only in Africa, but the world over. For this is your reference point for sports in the world. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen, for the very first time in 2022, Prime Sports is offering you Mr. Enowako, the best when it comes to sports consultancy in Africa. He joins us body and soul in today's edition of the program. Sir, a fine good evening to you, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, Isah. Happy New Year 2022. Happy New Year to Ngome. Happy New Year to Ngome Micheal. I'm happy to be here today. Happy New Year to the entire population of Tico.
Happy New Year to the entire population of Tico, Cameroon as well. And why not our beautiful viewers on our different social media handles, tuned 5 on 5 to get the best of analysis we are bringing you as far as sports is concerned. Well, it's all football. Guess what? We are talking about the football season, and yes, we should focus on that as well. He is a sports writer, journalist for My Soccer 24, a sports consultant and analyst. He joins us body and soul in today's edition of the program. He is Teke Jamian. He is present body and soul with us this evening, sir. A fine good evening to you. Happy New Year and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good evening, Isah. Good evening to Ngome, and good evening to Enowako, and Happy New Year to all of us, and Happy New Year to the televiewers out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been getting the name. It's time for you to see the person. He is also a fine brain when it comes to sports journalist. We call him Amwe, but of course he is Ngome Micheal. He joins us body and soul in today's edition of the program to also bring to the fore his upbeat information and ideas as well as far as sports is concerned. He is Ngome Micheal, sitting right next to me. Sir, a fine good evening to you. It's an honor to have you as part of today's edition of the program. Good evening once more and welcome.
Thank you very much, Rene, Isah, and it's a pleasure as the Benjamin of the panel today to meet with the great minds when it comes to the world of football, and a very happy new year and prosperous one in which we started with excitement of the African Cup of Nations here in Cameroon.
Lots of excitement. It promises to be the best of AFCONs organized in at least 50 years in the continent of the green, the red, the blue, the yellow, and many other colors. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the best football extravaganza on the planet, the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations, housed by the land of the indomitable Lions. And in today's edition of the program, we are taking a close look as our first talking point at the build up to this very special tournament. And yes, we are looking at the group stages, the iconic matches, players as well, and we are looking at all the stakes considering the odds as well. First things first, would want to send special congratulatory greetings to our regular panelist. He is Teke Jamian, who also is an accredited journalist. It means he has the capacity to bring us up to speed with all information as far as this tournament is concerned. We'll come to you, Mr. Teke there. Getting that accreditation from the Confederation of African Football as one of the rare sports brains to cover this special tournament in Africa. First, congratulations to you. And what were your immediate reactions when you saw your name on the list of accredited journalists for the AFCON?
Well, it was indeed a dream come true. You know, I couldn't apply for the SHAN because I had other duties which occupied me on one way or the other. But it's a lot, because when you look at it very well, it is not the most experienced journalists who are accredited. It's based on your media organization which you applied, because most of the media organizations that were taken are mostly websites, newspapers and magazines. Because when you are taking, when you are applying as a TV broadcaster or a radio broadcaster, CAF first look at your broadcast house, whether they have actually bought the TV rights, unlike the likes of BeIN Sports or BBC, Sky Sports, who have bought the TV rights. They will give accreditation, CRTV. But with a local media house, let's say for instance, my media point, journalists can apply for my media point, and you are taking is 25%. So that again is something that we as journalists, we must know that before you apply, you must know the different steps, the different media houses that can make you have 90%, 95% assured to have an accreditation. Reasons why some big journalists themselves were not taken because they applied behind a TV or broadcast medium organ, which was just 25% of your chances being selected. But however, it is something that normally is every dream for every journalist in Cameroon to cover the AFCON. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, because you might never have that opportunity to cover the AFCON maybe in your life. Though there are some journalists who have the ambition, like I, to have the ambition to maybe take the World Cup one day. But the badges too, there was one we're
going to be coming into the polemics of whatever happened with the badges there. Some viewers, on to you now, amongst the fans, your mentors, possibly the ones you're looking up to. What should they be expecting from you, so sports journalist, a commentator, and also an analyst?
Well, like I've always been doing in previous AFCONs and the SHAN, my soccer is in charge of the statistics. If you look at most competitions that we cover, we are mostly based on statistics. What are the odds, the previous matches, the statistics, who owns the favorites, what are the odds. That is my soccer for you. So we are there to give whatever. If you see our recent articles, we also look at the various teams that have hosted and won Cameroon. Can Cameroon be the 9th team? We've looked at the teams that are like a dark horse, because we have 15 winners of the AFCON. So we might be looking for, there are 3 teams whom my soccer happen to select to be the teams who might add their name into the books of the golden histories of AFCON. You have Mali, Burkina Faso and Senegal. Those are teams that, when you look at their performance in the last 20 years, they have some juicy performance, some performance which you can actually detest. For instance, Senegal, they finished 4th in 2006, runners-up in 2002, runners-up in 2019. Burkina Faso, same, 4th in 1998 when they hosted. They finished runners-up in 2013. You look at them, they finished 3rd again in 2017. Look at Mali, they've been consistent too. They've had 3rd place or finished 4th in 2004, 2002, and so they play the finals each time Cameroon hosts a major competition. So this could be that tournament which can give them the road to lifting the AFCON trophy. Remember in 1972, they played the finals against Congo, they lost. And when we hosted the SHAN this year, they played the finals against Morocco, and they lost. So these 3 teams might just be teams to watch. Remember that Burkina Faso, they have been a team that has posed threats to most big names. Remember what they did to Algeria in the qualifiers of the World Cup, though they dropped, they failed to qualify for the final round, but they gave Algeria actually a top run for their money, finishing second with 2 points behind mighty Algeria. It shows that the Burkina Faso are out for something this time around. You could see from their friendly matches, winning with the last scale margin. So I think those are the three teams that I think can go places.
All right.
As far as this AFCON is concerned.
Drawn in Group A as host nation, the indomitable Lions of Cameroon would certainly be coming up against the Stallions of Burkina Faso, the likes of the Blue Sharks of Juvett, and let's not forget Ethiopia. We would summon the understanding, and of course we shall be talking about the key players as well as the stakes for Cameroon in a group like this. We've just heard from Teke Jamian, Mr. Enoako, seeing the performances of Burkina Faso, the Stallions of Burkina Faso. India, 2 friendlies already. They've recorded almost 6 goals, thrashing the likes of Gabon, 3 goals to nothing. We are looking at a group stage, a group where Cameroon is also drawn, and we are looking at the indomitable Lions of Cameroon not involved in any warm-up match so far. What should we be looking forward to as far as this group is concerned? Are we headed towards a surprise?
Well, it's you know, in that group, my major worry is Cape Verde.
Cape Verde.
You know, the Blue Sharks have always posed a lot of problems to Cameroon. We have Ethiopia, and as well as Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso, yes, we know they have people like Andre and the brother. We have somebody like Pitropa, who is going to be part of the management team. We have somebody like, so Burkina Faso, definitely they have a good history. I think, but when I look at in terms of pedigree as well as in terms of past records, Jamian just gave the records of Burkina Faso, but unfortunately Jamian forgot to also give the pedigree of Cameroon. Cameroon in 1984 we won the AFCON. We won the AFCON again in that was 1984. 1986 we won in 2000. 2000 with people like Samuel Eto'o, Desiree Job, Patrick Demboma, people like Ngome Micheal, Chatobi and co. In 2002 we came again, we won the AFCON. We came in 2008, it was in Niamey, we were defeated by Egypt in the finals. Likewise in 2017 we came in, we won with Hugo Bros as coach, and Isah, worthy to note is that the era of Hugo Bros, during our friendlies, we were defeated in so many of our friendly games. So, and during the friendly period, a lot of people never tipped Cameroon to be a favorite, but we went through and actually became the champions. So I'm not worried with the fact that we have not had training sessions. We are dealing here with top-class professionals, and within this period, Conceição was actually, he came out with a list of 28, one of the finest lists that we all expected, and we got people like Jack Clinton, Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting, we got people like Bahokeng, we have Carl Toko Ekambi, we have Abubakar Vincent. So when we look at the Cameroonian squad, it's a squad that I think if the tactician in the person of Conceição, if he has a right strategy on a particular day, Cameroon definitely, I'll tip Cameroon to be the favorite. Remember that
Mr. Enoako, sorry for intercepting. When you talk of tipping Cameroon, to be the favorites, are we looking at Cameroon being the favorites of their group or the favorites in the tournament?
Of course, I'm not. Cameroon, when you look at the potential of Cameroon, Cameroon cannot be limited to the group stage.
Okay.
We can never limit Cameroon. Having Cameroon limited to the group stage is undermining the value of the Lions. The Egyptians hosted in 2006, they retained the title. The Tunisians hosted in 2004, they retained the title. 1980, Nigeria hosted, won the title. 1970, Sudan did that. 1963, Ghana did that. Why not Cameroon in 2002?
Unlike other Africa Cup of Nations, Ngome Micheal, we are headed towards an AFCON with very little problems as far as the Den of the Lions is concerned. We're not hearing stories of unpaid prems. We're not getting stories of players expressing disinterest to play. We're not getting that disunion as far as the Lions are concerned, unless, of course, when we start considering aspects like the health challenge that almost every other team is witnessing. When we consider this health challenge and we look at, its far-reaching impacts, where do you see Cameroon? I mean, given that we have a host of players who are just recovering from the COVID-19, where do you see Cameroon go as far as not only the group stage is concerned, but let's for now limit it at the level of the group stage, mindful of the fact that the kickoff of the tournament is in a couple of days' time. Where do you see Cameroon go as far as that group is concerned? The Sharks are there, the Stallions are there, Ethiopia is there as well.
Well, Isah, the figures have come in and we've got them from Eno and Jamian, but when we should be realistic here that we should understand the gravity that comes with hosting a competition. And mentioning of the COVID-19 pandemic, we'll have to know that when we look back at the qualifiers for the World Cup, you see that the last two games that we played against Mozambique in Tangier, Morocco, as well as the game we traveled to South Africa for the final, the last but one game, we see that it was equally, we had challenges, though not related to COVID-19 per se, but the challenges were enormous and we were able to overcome them. First, going to Morocco, the Lions traveled late and played barely hours after arriving in Morocco, and before getting to South Africa, they had them or they made an unpredicted stop for health challenges of one of the crew members, and upon arriving too, they had other challenges, and they even coming to play our toughest game that was out here at the Japoma Sports Complex against Ivory Coast. We equally had a challenge. One of the team members lost his father, but we went above that to see that the game we made it to the playoffs. You see that with these challenges in mind, and even currently camping, we see the coach is currently bereaved, but the morals have been coming prior to the New Year and the Christmas, the festive period. We got the messages. So when we look at all this, despite the challenges, the current health challenges, which no one predicted for this, but I think when we look at it, you see that the squad is fashioned and has been designed in such a way where even it's a player that is affected by COVID-19, there is a possible replacement. In every contingent on the squad, you see that at least 2 or 3 players are there. That is, in case of an injury or a COVID-19 case test positive reported in the squad, we will have a possible replacement in almost every facet. We look at the defense, the goalkeeping compartment, the central defense, the wing defense, and we even have the midfield as well as the attacking compartment. So Cameroon has a very rich squad, and it will have to do with management. We know the top players when it comes to this squad headed by Consensao. We have the likes of Muminga Melo, somebody I enjoy watching a lot. 8 assists and 2 goals under Consensao, playing barely every minute. It is really, really enticing. Cameroon per se, when we look at the threats from Cape Verde, we have Burkina Faso, not taking anything away from the Warriors of Ethiopia. It is going to be a competition where Cameroon as hosts should make it past the quarterfinals and take Cameroon and football lovers of Cameroon to higher heights.
We're going to be coming to you there. We have the coach of the Indomitable Lions, Antonio Conce Sauda Silva Oliveras, who believes that the least that is expected of his team is the finals. Mr. Enoaku, you are a sports consultant with expert knowledge in football. Now, tapping from your deep pockets and reservoir of knowledge in sports, we are looking at the health crisis. What would be the role of discipline vis-a-vis COVID-19 and the national team? The role of discipline. We know that if the players remain possibly disciplined and they don't go out and get mingled, we may not have possible cases of contamination and spread of the virus within the den of the lions. Let's understand the role of discipline as far as health is concerned and the national team.
Yes, Isah, you know, with COVID, the major issue we dealing with COVID is simply social distancing. Either you have the vaccine or you putting on a face mask. Those are some basics. Those things are not too difficult for us to respect, but we know with the nature of the country, there are a lot of issues which are not being respected. The players are called upon to ensure that decisions are being respected, especially while in camp. We don't want issues where players leave the camp to visit family members. We don't want issues where family members come in to take pictures with their sons, because on the perspective of family, we need to ensure that those players do concentrate, have 100% maximum concentration on the competition. We don't want issues where ministers walk in and out of the Lions Den in perspective of visits. It's uncalled for. We don't want issues where former players move in and out of the Lions Den, because those, you can be a carrier without knowing.
But it could be of influence to boost the morale of the players.
No, we are talking about a health crisis. You could move in there thinking that you don't have the virus, but you are not a medic. You are not a medical doctor to, you can be a carrier without knowing. Exactly. So we need to limit the number of persons who go in as where the lions are found. We need to ensure that those boys actually concentrate. Remember, people like Kunde Malong, we have Basogok, they all had COVID. They just recovered. So we don't want an issue where, because in Cameroon there's always the tendency where you find somebody like Abe Roger Mila wanting to go and meet the lions in the capacity of a former lion. Yeah. You have somebody like the current president of the federation, Samuel Eto'o, walk in to visit the lions. Start making promises. We will have scenarios where the minister of sports and with Cameroon officials, they never go alone.
Exactly. They go with an entourage.
It's always...
That is something we have to avoid.
We need to avoid all those things.
Yeah.
So, among the players, they could be negative, but when we start having all these unnecessary visits, we might end up having players being tested positive.
I mean, we are thanking God for innovations we have now where there could be a teleconferencing, whatever message you want to pass across.
They can pass it via different media without necessarily going to. But it's all about ministers like a lot of unnecessary popularity.
They can going there in person and
making a whole show about it. Where they are supposed to focus, they don't focus because they like to use the lion as a political manifesto.
We're going to be coming to that. Teke Jamian, we have the coach of the Indomitable Lions who says that the least expected of his team is the finals. Analysts and other observers are left with the impression that your coach is trying to create a scenario where if he's beaten at the finals, at the end of the day, one may have the impression that, that was his objective, get to the finals and not win. So what would you say about that? Coach coming out at such a time and telling the Cameroonian public and fans and supporters of the Indomitable Lions that the least expected of the Lions is the finals. What would you make of that?
Well, it is very clear for any coach to do that. It's a communication strategy. Even today, if you tell Pep Guardiola that you win the Premier League, he will tell you no, one game at a time. So that is what these coaches, their communication experts tell them. That you don't go into a competition as confident as you are. You must be playing the mind's game. Like the Mourinho's, the Arsene Wenger's, whom they say they'll win the league, but they are taking one game at a time. So he might be saying that the limit for the Lions is at least playing the finals. Well, it is his own tactics to put down the pressure, because this is the moment where those players can actually become the ninth team in history, or host team to be in history to win to host and win the competition. But now we need to learn from our past mistakes, because in 1972 we never lost against Congo because we didn't play well. No, if you watch the videos of that game, you understand that those guys were under pressure because they were flipped off ministers who came with useless speeches. From the Ministry of Sports at the time, president of the federation at the time, you had of blessed memory, the Sultan Bombondrea, who came in alongside ministers who came in talking unnecessary things to the players, and it made pressure. So it's not all about spreading the COVID-19 virus, but this current visit of irrelevant people visiting the camp of the Lions is something that has to be stopped. Because first, it doesn't only spread the virus, but it puts the players under pressure. I'll not be surprised.
What we're getting from
I'll not be surprised if
whatever promise there is, the persons involved could reserve this promise until after the tournament.
We should have it at the back of our mind.
We should have it at the back of our mind that we should understand that we must not host to win.
Okay.
Exactly.
That is one thing we must have to understand. Brazil, if we were to host to win, then Brazil would have won the World Cup in 2014. But they made their match. They are favorites who are here. We are just the decent favorites as far as the tournament is concerned. We are the favorites, but we are the decent because the top two, Algeria and Senegal, are the most favorite. We must understand that. We might be saying that we are, since 1972, we have never lost a game at the Fandena or at home. But I will tell you, Algeria is 40 games unbeaten. So they two are coming here with blood on their eyes. So we should be looking at the realities. That's why I said that those guys should be left with their coach. The coach should know what to do with those guys. I believe that if those guys are left on their own with the coach, he knows whom he has to put. He has called the players from the goalkeeper Onana. He has got a juicy contract with Inter of Milan. Gandhi is a leader who comes in with that stability at the defense line. Fai Collins, Oyongo Bitolo, whom also, apart from the fact that he brings much more experience on the pitch, but out of the pitch, he's an animator alongside Jack Lindsay and Basogok. We saw their role they play to ensure that there was oneness in the team. That is it. That is what we want from those players. They should be among themselves, rather than sending those politicians to come in there and to start telling them stories, which might instead bring them under pressure. Because I'll not be surprised that on that day, when it's 75 minutes, 50 minutes end of match, and it's 0-0, you understand that the pressure will be more on the players. I wish that is not what we want for those players. We want them to play this competition as free as they were free.
All right, we're running off with Group A there, but we would, of course, be going to Group B. Well, let's go into predictions. Very much too early, but we shall be looking at predictions. Then, Mr. Enoako, very briefly there, who do you see join Cameroon, leave Group A?
I see Cape Verde.
Cape Verde joining Cameroon. Ngome Micheal, who is joining Cameroon?
Well,
I can't say, or who do you see go out of this group?
Well, you see, on paper, the first two, I must say, they are the knockout stages.
The first
the ones to make it out of that group.
What about you, Teke Jamian?
Well, it's going to be so tight. It's going to be so tight. You know, Cameroon, I won't actually look at, yes, we are hosts, but it's going to be difficult. I see a third best placed team coming from that pool, but I see Cameroon, Burkina Faso going as far as the knockout round is concerned.
For Group B, we have Senegal, we have Zimbabwe, Guinea, and Malawi to also fight for supremacy as far as that group is concerned. It also looks to be one of the juicy groups in this particular tournament. But then we know that the likes of Sadio Mane and many others are coming with, of course, fresh appetite, especially after their participation in the last edition of the tournament, where they made the finals and were beaten by Senegal. We also have the likes of Zimbabwe, who are coming with also fresh appetite. But then Zimbabwe is being closely followed by the World Football Governing Body. We shall be considering all of that and more also as we take interest in Group B. Mr. Enoako, looking at Group B, your reactions?
Well, you know, some years behind, we had one of the best goalkeepers in Africa in the person of Bruce Gobler. He was actually Zimbabwe. He was a guy from Zimbabwe. So, but since then, they have had a lot of difficult times. There have been tournaments, there have been editions whereby Zimbabwe actually was missing. They have had some difficult moments, but on the contrary, we have a country like Senegal in that poll, and we all know that they have one of the finest footballers in the continent in the person of Sadio Mane. We also have it's
one of the best goalkeepers, Edward Mendy. I mean,
playing for Chelsea. So it's going to be a watertight. Remember, when you even watch the previous edition where they were defeated by Algeria, 1-0, it I think it was based on the inexperience of the goalkeeper. This time around, you have somebody in the person of Mendy,
Solid.
very solid at the goal post.
cat-like reflexes.
So Senegal, they have actually reinforced the team in the areas where they had lapses in the previous edition. So I will not be surprised to see Senegal not only go past the group stage, but
go as far as the finals. Teke Jamian, we have the Stallions. We have Zimbabwe, part of this Group B. They are also a team that we find that we have very little to write in recent football as far as Zimbabwe is concerned. But we cannot also write them off, because looking at the way they qualified for the AFCON, one is tempted to think that they have a bold statement to write, but we have FIFA at their tails. What will be your reaction? And what do you think would be their participation as far as this group stage is concerned? Where do you see them?
Well, if you look at Group B, you understand that the group, normally the favorite is there, Senegal on paper. They should expect to top the pool as far as that particular group is concerned. But when you look at the other three teams, you understand that Guinea stands the team that can follow Senegal as far as the the knockout round is concerned. Guinea are one of those teams that actually they were good and performant in the qualifiers, and you expect them to join Senegal, with a guy like Naby Keita, who comes in as their captain. He has scored a couple of their goals, even the 2-0 win over Rwanda in their friendly game. He was one of the scorers of that game. But when you look at the other two teams, Zimbabwe and Malawi, those are pushovers as far as that pool is concerned. I dare to say that, though in football you can't predict again, because Zimbabwe, their last 5 appearances, they've been unable to cross the group stage of the African Cup of Nations, and so you can't really see them as this year that they are going to do that. I don't think so, because even at their recent matches in the World Cup qualifiers, they were able to pick just 3 points in over 6 games, and leading to the circuit of their coach at the time, the guy from Serbia. And so they have a new coach presently at the moment. Same with Malawi, the Flames of Malawi. Yes, they had a good time with during the AFCON, during the qualifiers, but you can't really look at them as a team that can actually push troubles. Even when we played them in the qualifiers, you can't see a Flames of Malawi that you can really pick as a team that can push troubles as far as that pool is concerned. So when you look at the teams, all of them, Guinea, they've played the finals once. That was in 1976. They lost 1-0 to Morocco. So they will be coming with that
spirit of revenge.
That spirit again to maintain their status quo, to increase their level of the competition.
Recognition as well.
Last time around, they went as far as the round of 16 or so, but they were booted out. So I think this time around, they'll be looking forward to look above their shoulders and go maybe to the quarterfinal level, and why not the semi-final. So the two teams in that pool, like I said, Senegal and Guinea, who are to go through as far as that pool is concerned.
Ngome Micheal, we have Teke here who thinks Guinea is one of the favorites as far as Group B is concerned, but we are looking at a Guinea who has just been beaten twice, 3 goals to nothing in build up to this tournament in friendlies. Does that not tell us something about the Guinea team? Can we not start making some points as far as they are concerned? Consider some lapses as well as far as they are concerned, Ngome Micheal.
Well, when we look at Pool B, we will understand that Guinea, indeed, they might seem to be not consistent. But I would like to take us back that this is a country that has developed drastically when it comes to football on the continent. Remember, in January last year, that is 2021, they were here for a CHAN and they finished third as opposed to their previous performance on that category. And the squad that finished third during the CHAN in Cameroon, I think they count 2 or 3 players in their national selection. We have the likes of Molaye Sila and one of their goalkeepers, Kamara. You equally look at it, you see that they come from a team, an elite team in Guinea, Horaye FC, the AC rather, that has an influence over the continent when it comes to CAF Champions League. So when we look at the likes of Naby Keita, it is true, the Guinea may be 14 and in the friendlies, and friendlies equally have a way that they influence competition. But you understand that the African Cup of Nations, like any other international competition, comes with its own flames and pressures, and it comes with its own way of approach that comes upon it. They sit on the classification below Zimbabwe, and the psychology of Zimbabwe right now is not a stable one. It can act as a springboard for Guinea when facing their opponents to capitalize on that. And perhaps, going into a game, if your psychology is not balanced, your team may be thwarted, and that is what Guinea might capitalize on. And I believe, just like Jamian said, when we are talking about a wounded Senegal that has been wounded indeed for long, if they are going in for the ticket and edging deep into the competition, remember Aliou Cisse is a coach that has been with them for long, I think 5 years, and when you look at it, in his last contract renewed with the Teranga Lions, it is clearly stipulated in need that this man has to go for silver. Well, Macky Sall, upon their departure, reminded them that they should know they are the best when it comes to quality, technique, and even a more tactical level. So you should understand that Senegal are the favorites, and when we come to Guinea, it is really, really another side that can produce fireworks when it comes to this pool. And I would say they are indeed the potential second runners-up. And when we talk about Senegal, we should equally know that their star man Sadio Mane is 3 goals to becoming an all-star player, all-time top scorer. And when you are going into a competition with group stages where you have a bigger, more influence over your group, and imagine becoming the all-time top scorer and winning the competition in the same year, you can imagine what is in the back of the minds of the Senegalese striker.
All right, another team that has been very wounded as far as the AFCON is concerned is Ghana, and they make part of Group C alongside Gabon. We also have Morocco and the Comoros. They make part of Group C, and it's also a very tempting group. We have very familiar names there, the likes of Morocco, the likes of Ghana, and Gabon. Let's not also write off Comoros. Mr. Enoko, look at this group. It appears to be one of the tightest groups as far as the different groups are concerned. Your reactions and your analysis of this Group C: Morocco, Ghana, Comoros, Gabon.
Yes, Isah, when we look at Morocco, though it's a side that has a lot of issues. They just recently came in with a delegation of people, of administrative staff. So, in my opinion, in that group, yes, in terms of know-how, Morocco is probably the favorite. But that again will not take the fact that Ghana, history tells us that Ghana is one of the best in Africa. Even though when we look at it very well, they count a lot on the Ayew brothers.
They are wearing out.
Yeah, unfortunately, they are wearing out. And you have the Mensa as well. But so, in a nutshell, the Ghanaian side is not a fearful side as we knew them in some years ago. Comoros, well, in every tournament you always have the underdogs. So I can easily classify them in that line.
Mr. Enoako,
Yeah.
We are looking at a Group C with two so far of the most controversial teams. Morocco coming in with their delegation, so having their own issues stemming from the likes of primes. We are also looking at hotels. We are looking at transportation. All of these, would it not have a great, role to play as far as the morale of the players going to the tournament is concerned?
Yes, Gabon, they have one of the finest Arsenal strikers in the person of Aubameyang.
But his recent performances, behavior issues as well.
So, but again, even though he has character problems, that doesn't take away the fact that the guy is a deadly striker. So I really count on him as one of the strikers which Africa should be watching at during the tournament. So in this group, I think that if Ghana is not careful, we might have Morocco go past along with Gabon.
Teke Jamian, we are looking at Gabon. Let's understand. You're one person who has been closely following developments at the level of the Gabonese team, from arrangements with the authorities to their flights, to their hotel, and other aspects. They are not also spared as far as COVID-19 is concerned. Looking at their performance in previous AFCONs, one is tempted to think that take away all the challenges they've had so far, they would also be a threat as far as Group C is concerned. What would be your reaction as far as these challenges are concerned with Group C?
Well, Gabon, they could be a threat as far as the group is concerned. They have played the quarterfinals twice, 96 and 2012 or so. Yeah, they played the quarterfinals. But if you look at their qualifiers during the AFCON or their road to the AFCON, they finished as runners up in that group. A little known, the Gambia had to overshadow them with strikers like Asang CSE, who scored 3 goals for Gambia to elevate them at the summit of their group of the AFCON. So they might actually pose troubles to Ghana and Morocco. Ghana for themselves, they've been the two, Morocco and Ghana, those two teams normally, they have faced a series of challenges as far as the African continent is concerned. They'll be those teams that have, since last they won the AFCON, it's been some 35 years since. For Morocco, it's 1976 since they last won the tournament. The last time they played the finals was in 2004 when they lost to Tunisia 2-1. Same with Ghana. Ghana, since they won in 1982, when you had the likes of Abedi Pele, since then they've had series of generations who have come in. Sami Kufo, Stephen Appiah, the likes of Ashamu Adjian have come in, and the Ayub brothers are fast diminishing. But they've played finals in 92, they played finals in 2010, they played finals in 2015, they lost all. And so this is the generation of players where the Ayub brothers are looking beyond their shoulders to see that they get Ghana the 5th title in their history. And remember, they are coached by somebody who knows the Ghanaian team so well, Rajevat, who coached them in 2009, 2010, and carried them to the finals of the 2010 African Cup of Nations, which they lost to Egypt, and to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. So he's coming for his second spell as a coach of the Ghanaian team. So he has the doubting task to bring back that spirit of the Ayub brothers, which he had built some 10 years ago. And I think, should he do that, then I think Ghana can go places with other players like Thomas Partey, Daniel Ameti, and John Mensah. Those are players whom they also count on as far as the team is concerned. And for Morocco too, like I said, these are the two teams that have, since they won the AFCON, they've been at the top of African football, but they have been unable to mount the podium as far as gold medal is concerned. Unlike you have the likes of Egypt, Cameroon, Nigeria, who have won it in the 21st century. But these two teams have been up there in terms of how they represent Africa in big tournaments, but they've been unable to mount the podium as far as gold medal is concerned in the AFCON. So this could be the opportunity for them to maybe go one step further by clinching a title, because it's a shame for Morocco to be dominating the CHAN, but at the highest level in African football, they've only won it once. Ghana, since they last won it, when they had the historic teams in the 80s. Since then, close to about 40 years since the last won it. So this is the opportunity for them to like shine. But you can't take anything away from Comoros. We've seen people, teams that have made it in their debuts and have won it. Ghana did that in their debut in '63. They won it. They created an impact. Egypt did that in their debut. They created an impact. Same with the likes of Cape Verde, where they came in their debut. They created an impact going to the quarterfinals. We saw also Madagascar in 2019. They came in their first debuting tournament. They went through as far as the quarterfinals. So we might see a little known Comoros going to at that level, creating an impact as far as the continent's biggest showpiece is concerned. So we can't write any of those 4 teams out on the picture, because debutants like that, when they qualify, they want to create an impact in the tournament to announce themselves as just like what Cape Verde did and Madagascar. So we might also see them troubling the likes of Ghana or Morocco at the end of the day. So it's quite open to me.
We're also going to do the prediction game as far as this particular group is concerned. But first, Ngome Micheal, you're looking at Comoros, a team that many think they know little of. What is expected as far as this, Comoros team is concerned? What should be expected of them, and how should other teams mount up towards them? You're also doing that, as well as very briefly, you're giving us your predictions as far as that group is concerned. Who is moving forward in that group?
Well, when we look at Comoros, we clearly have the impression that truly they are the underdogs, but we look at the current state of affairs with the Gabonese team. Remember, they stayed back due to bonuses, as we all know, but upon arriving Cameroon, they still carry along some complexities. We are getting that their hotel facility for destined for them, they are seemingly turning it down and all those things. We are less than 3 days into the kickoff of this tournament, and these two sides will face each other in their opening game, that is Gabon and Comoros. Comoros are a highly motivated team. They are coming in, and they are coming in with that fire of our debutant. And remember, Comoros, I think you look at the records back, they no longer have these complexes for the big names in the continent. So if Comoros manages to get a win against Gabon, who I think they are unstable as we speak, if they manage to get a win, I'm not saying they will get through the group stages, but Comoros might present an upset in this group to finish third, and that is something it will be good for them, because it is really they are submerged in among powerhouses in the continent. But when you equally look at this group, my weight looks upon Ghana. Ghana is that team which the records Jamian has given us perfectly. They have played finals, semi-finals for ages, and lastly winning in '82. This team, for me, I think they rely much on the Ayu brothers, who their time, I would say, is up. I think they should give way for youngsters. We have the likes of Afena Gyan, who refused. I don't know if he was influenced by IS rumors saying he has more time to spend with the club for a more experience. And we equally have an under 17 lion, Ghanaian, who won the competition back in March. That is the under 17 African Nations Championship back there in Mauritania. And Abdul Fatawa, that is a very brilliant young man who, if given the chance, will do it. But looking at Ghana losing 3-0 to Algeria just days into the competition as we equally speak, I don't see Ghana really going that far into this competition, but making it out of the group stages. I think Ghana and Morocco are the top right favorite, but Gabon has a pride to protect. If not, they might go below the standards and call it and finishing the top from bottom in that group.
Taking interest in Group D, where we have the Pharaohs of Egypt, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, we have Guinea-Bissau as well as part of that group, and not to forget Sudan making part of Group D. What a group we have there, and the opening encounter in that group would see Nigeria versus Egypt. And Africa has their eye on that particular group and encounter. Teke Jamian, who do you see progress from Group D, mindful of the different teams and of course the types of player we have, the players and their records out there? We see countries with players playing in Europe's top 5 leagues. I mean, what is left with the impression that it would be a clash of the titans when Nigeria eventually meets Egypt? Who do you see progress from that group as far as Nigeria, Egypt, Sudan, Guinea-Bissau are concerned?
Well, when you look at the 4 teams in Group D, you understand that normally Egypt and Nigeria, they stand the better chance to sail through with 10 titles between them. But when you look at the 2 teams as at the moment, you can't really put your money on them to go. Yeah, they might cross the group stage to the knockout rounds, and that might be maybe the quarter semi-finals for them. But now, who tops the pool is the main problem between Egypt and Nigeria. There have been teams, Egypt. They look a one-man army, just like Portugal in England. I mean, in Europe, where they have the Egyptian magician Mo Salah, who leads the team as the top striker, scored close to 20 goals so far this season for Liverpool. So he comes in there with that one-man army affair to get the goals for Egypt. But do they have Mohamed Anini at the middle of the pack? They have Trezeguet who comes into, but the Egypt we used to know, that fear factor of the Hassans, the Abu Trika, the Zidans in 2006, 8 and 2010. That fear factor seems to have disappeared. So I think that even in Nigeria too, they have a cream of talents, but I put the blame on the Nigerian FA because they have been so passive in seeing that their key players have been withheld by their various clubs, and the Nigerian FA has been passive. This is a competition that the Nigerians need to look beyond their shoulders to win and make name for themselves. They might have won 3 AFCON titles, but they have been the team that has appeared in the podium for more than any other team in the AFCON. They have appeared in the podium for close to 20 times. 3 times winners, 4 times silver medalists, 8 times bronze medalists. So it's something that they need to transform their bronze into golds. And who are the players who are to give them that victory? Victor Osimhen, why did they have to release Victor Osimhen to go because of COVID? Whereas he could have stayed there for maybe a quarantine of 5 days, and they keep him and monitor him. The doctors of Nigeria said that they cannot treat the COVID of Victor Osimhen.
Teke Jamian, we had a Victor Osimhen who, prior to being called, was already having injury issues with his club, and one is tempted to think that it's far beyond just the COVID. We have window dressing.
Eto'o went to the World Cup in 2014 injured. Same with Jean-De Makoun. We took them.
But we look at
because we know that
performance at the World Cup.
It is different. You must bring your star man into the team. Because Victor Osimhen scored 5 goals. That's a passing room. If he is in the team, it creates a panic to the opponent.
That's it.
Look at what they did to Emmanuel Dennis of Watford. That's a striker who comes in to help anticipate the attack line of Nigeria. But the FA sat quiet. What does that mean? Look at a little known El Shabaab in Saudi Arabia holding the Igalo from coming. The Nigerian FA has been so passive. That's why I will hold them responsible should Nigeria not go far in this tournament. They should stop all this when the European says we are not going to release and they start doing kind of substitute. No, they should go in for their player. Look at what Senegal did. Senegal held on to Ismaila Sarr, and Watford had to release the player. That is what we need from these teams. But I would say, like I said, Egypt and Nigeria, they stand a better chance. But when we look at Sudan too, they won in 1970. They are coming again after a long while, so they might also be another team to watch. They have a mark of a champion.
All right.
And so you could see they too have. But Guinea-Bissau, they will be looking to cross the group stage. They have never crossed the group stage in their last 3 appearances. So this time around, they will be looking forward to go beyond the group stage, but which is going to be very difficult because with the likes of Nigeria and Egypt as 2 giants, I think that it's going to be difficult for Guinea-Bissau to actually sail through to the round of 16.
Pronostics for you there, Mr. Enoako. We're starting with you, of course, looking at this very group mode as described as a very deadly one. Who do you see, take leadership as far as this group is concerned, and who advances? We have Egypt there, Nigeria there, Sudan, Guinea-Bissau.
So to be brief, Bishop, The classification, the way we have presented it there, is just the way it's going to end.
When we look at Nigeria, so you think Nigeria would, take supremacy of the group with the presence of Egypt, of Mohamed Salah?
Yes. I have no worries with Mo Salah being an Egyptian. When I look, we are talking about a team, we are not talking about an individual.
But we just mentioned the fact that a star player could have a positive impact and influence as far as other players are concerned, and also the opponent team.
Of course, Mo Salah is not going to be the goalkeeper, neither is he going to be the defender.
So he could be a goal-getter.
He could definitely score 4 goals and the goalkeeper concede maybe 5.
It's a game of football.
It's a game of football. So we remember the game Angola against Mali in I think that was in 2010. The Angolans were leading the Malians 4-0. At the 78th minute the game was 4-0, but at the 95th minute the game ended 4-all. So you now see that the Angolans could score because they had somebody like Manucho who was dishing out the goals with Flavio. But they could also concede so many goals. Reasons why they ended up not winning the trophy. So Mo Salah can score so many goals, but don't forget, Nigeria has the person of Chukwueze, who plays for Villarreal, who is also deadly.
We've just seen him receive prayers there from his mom, and we have the impression it would certainly be an encounter backed by prayers. Would not leave you out, Dream FM and Ngome Micheal. You've closely followed this group D. Who do you see come up with bragging rights as far as Group D is concerned?
Well, Rene, when you look at it, truly, if you weigh the pre-AFCON atmosphere beside these two giants who play the opener on Tuesday, that is January 11, you see the Nigerian side is indeed dominant, and we are expecting what to see when they face our all-time winners out here, Elite One winners, Cotton Sport of Garwa tomorrow. When we look at it, Mohamed Salah came up with a powerful statement saying that the journey throughout Cameroon will be rough. But if the fans of the Pharaohs are behind them, they might come home back with gold. And remember, this is somebody who is making a name in Europe. And perhaps a mighty trophy might come from Europe to him if he gains this one, if he wins this international competition. Carlos Queiroz, their coach, equally came up with another powerful statement, backing up the players out there in the Egyptian camp. But like we see, the Nigerian section is equally creating troubles to its own. First, we see the departure of Gernot Rohr and someone who led them to a third place finish in the 2006, coming in to be with them and in the Garwa on all these things. When you place them side by side, you see that though the two are the favorites, but remember, when it comes to this stage of the competition, qualifying first is something very important, because the assumption is that if you qualify first, you might play a softer opponent in the next round, and if you qualify second, you might get a tougher opponent. So that is the philosophy here, and many have said the philosophy and the way forward for this group is winning at least 2 games and getting a draw. That is the way forward. But Nigeria and Egypt remain, I think they remain the favorites of these two.
We have someone viewing us all the way from the Gold Coast of Ghana there, and he has just sent us a text message in our studio tablet. We shall be getting to that, and the message is really, really interesting as far as the Ghanaian team is concerned, and also the players called up. We take interest also in Group E, where we have current title holders Algeria, and we also have likes of Sierra Leone, Equatorial Guinea, and Cote d'Ivoire, whose star and the goalkeeper has just been suspended, Mr. Enwako. We have a lot of developing stories as far as this group is concerned. Algeria is coming just like the Italians of Africa. They are coming with almost a clean sheet as far as victories and successes are concerned. We are looking at also a Cote d'Ivoire team that is looking very sharp in recent times, and one is also tempted to think that Equatorial Guinea cannot be wiped out of the equation. Also say we will not write something as far as Sierra Leone is concerned. Who do we have take ownership, leadership as far as this group is concerned?
You know, a team like Sierra Leone, ever since somebody like Mohamed Kalon went on retirement, they have not had a leading scorer at the international level. But when you look at a team like Algeria, we have been talking about Mo Salah. Don't forget that Algeria also boasts of somebody like Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez is one of the finest in Europe as well as in the world as we currently speak. So I will not be surprised if the Algeria, remember they are even champions. They are the current champions. So I will not be surprised if the Algerians actually qualified top in this poll, but taking nothing away from Ivory Coast, because Cote d'Ivoire, they have the likes of KC, who plays for AC Milan. They have the likes of Max Gradel, who just lost the father just I think yesterday.
Yeah.
So I don't. That's where my major concern is. That atmosphere with Max Gradel, it might affect negatively the squad. So the Ivorians need to manage that atmosphere appropriately. But they have the likes of their captain in the person of Serge Aurier, or they have Aurier as well as Wilfred Zaha. So they have a very fine squad, but again, the Ivorian team has always been the Ivorians. It's a nation that has always been blessed, just like Cameroon, with excellent players. Remember, some years ago, the boast of players like Didier Drogba was the finest one of the finest in Africa, because he was competing with Samuel Eto'o. And though Drogba played the tournament of 2 finals, was unfortunate that he couldn't grab the gold medal because he was they were defeated by Zambia in 2012, and in penalty shootout, and with Drogba himself lost one of the penalties. In the edition, I think that was in 2006, they were defeated by Egypt, if not mistaken. So again, via penalties. So Drogba again missed the penalty. So in the years where in 1992 they had when I think that's when they actually won the AFCON, where they defeated Ghana on penalty shootouts 11 against 10 for the Ghanaians.
Are relying on penalties
in
every final they get to qualify for.
So the Ivorian team, in that 1992 they had someone like Juvett, who was one of the most formidable African strikers at the time. So Cote d'Ivoire, they have always been blessed with talent, but they have never been blessed in blending that talent.
All right, we have another person watching us also out of the national territory of Cameroon, and this text message is also a very interesting one there. We are identifying the person as a certain Mr. Awa Momo, who has also sent us a fine text in connection with the Nigerian team. We shall be coming to all your text messages towards the end of the program. Teke Jamian, sports writer for My Soccer 24. When you look at this group we're talking about, we have names there, and who do you see, come out on top of this group and eventually go farthest in the tournament?
Well, normally you will find the group actually, the 2 favorites are the Cote d'Ivoire and Algeria. Those are the 2 teams you tick as far as the group is concerned. And if you look at the Algerians, they are a team to beat as far as this tournament is concerned. Remember that since they are 6 games in the AFCON unbeaten, dating back at 2019 when they won their AFCON winning campaign. So despite the fact that there are 40 games unbeaten, both national, their team A and team B, they are coming here with a coach who I think that these are coaches that Africa needs to emulate. When you say coaches deliver in terms of performance and consistency, then I think Barmadi has done more than a yeoman's job to see that this team actually goes beyond the African sphere, maybe creating an impact in the World Cup. When you look at the Algerians, they have Islam Slimani, who scored one of the goals yesterday against Ghana. He's coming in with a firepower. You have starman Riyad Mahrez, who stands as a captain. He's deadly in terms of his chances created. He scores goals. He knows how to kick. He's a free kick specialist. But when you look at the Ivorians, they too come in with their star man Wilfred Zaha, who also is there. They have Nicolas Pepe. They have the likes of Shesh Ogel. But it was kind of unfortunate that Buhu, their goalkeeper, was sanctioned or suspended because of he was tested for a banned substance, which was tested in November. You know, this their FIFA rule thing, when you have been it was tested, and you know they follow some steps as far as this testing is concerned. So they had to come to a final conclusion to see that the goalkeeper was however guilty of the crime, and so they has to be suspended. So that's the big blow. But Patrick Bumel had to replace the goalkeeper with another one. So I think you know, that's where you need to have options, because situations like this, you as a coach need to have a wide knowledge of your players and who are those playing elsewhere. And I think he did a marvelous job to see that this player has been replaced. And talking about Sierra Leone and the other team, those are teams that you can't really get the best out of them, because Sierra Leone, they qualified from the second best place team after they defeated Benin in the last day. They were the last team to qualify.
But we know underdogs can come up with a surprise.
Yeah, underdogs can come out with a surprise, and there were reports that their coach was even threatened.
You see? Right. We're going to be coming to some of those polemics. We take a nose dive to the last group playing in the southwest, I beg your pardon, the Limbe and of course the Boya sides. We are looking at Tunisia, Mali, Mauritania and the Gambia. Mr. Enoako, from your sports pocket, we have familiar names. We have the likes of Tunisia. We also have the likes of Mali in that particular group. Who do you see take center stage and of course come out on top with the Gambia, a team we cannot also minimize, not to talk about Mauritania, who also are proven to be a tough nut to crack?
You know, what is so interesting about African football is each time other nations play against those from the Maghrebian zone, they have always faced a lot of difficulties. So the Maghrebians, when you look at it so well, as far as the African concept is concerned, the Maghrebians had dominated football for so many years. Reasons why I think that when you look at a team like the Malians, ever since we had people like Seydou Keita, when Seydou Keita, someone like Mamadou Diarra, that period where Mali had a fine grain of players. Since then, I think that Mali has not been the Mali we knew for some years. So, couple the fact that Tunisia is always Tunisia, when they lastly won the tournament in 2004 when they hosted. At the time, they had players like Trabesi, who played for Ajax of Amsterdam, who was one of the finest right back at the time. He could be compared to someone like Alexander Arnold of Liverpool. They had somebody like Santos, who was a Brazilian by birth, but decided to play for Tunisia. So Tunisia is that nation that has always boasted of excellent players, and they have always caused a lot of difficulties to countries out of the Maghrebian area. So I think that in that group, I could think, in my opinion, Tunisia could lead the group. Then probably Mali can be the second best.
All right, we're going to be taking some text messages there from our different viewers across the world. We have this one watching us all the way from Ghana, and he says, good evening, my name is Collins from Ghana. I don't think the Black Stars are ready for this AFCON. He says those that were expected to be called were not called, and he goes further to add that Ghanaians are keenly waiting to celebrate the exit of the Black Stars of Ghana. That's a Ghanaian texting us. Ngome Micheal, such a text message tells us the atmosphere, gives us an idea of what could be obtaining out there in Ghana. And he also adds, he says, good evening, my name is Collins from Ghana. The Black Stars are not ready. Of course, we have all of that and more. And he tells us that players that are supposed to be called were left out due to some people's selfish interest. We have that noted. And he says everyone in Ghana is keenly waiting for the exit of the Black Stars on the 20th of January. Morocco and Gabon will qualify from the group. And that message has been signed by Collins, watching us all the way from Ghana. We have that, and one can start thinking of, you know, the impression, one can start thinking of the atmosphere, what actually obtains this minute out there in Ghana. As a sports writer, as a sports journalist, from your sports pocket, Ngome Micheal, what will be your reaction to such?
When you look at it, indeed, Ghana, to an extent, you see them, they are gradually losing the support of the Ghanaian fan. Just like Ivory Coast, where they are an all-star team, but that support, that home support doesn't really matter now, because nobody is like, they don't care anymore. That is the similar thing with Ghana. When you look at, first of all, the Rajavax, first of all, the first list published, criticisms came in that one of the top clubs, local clubs out there in Ghana, Asante Kotoko, they really have a prolific goalkeeper who his statistics for this season in the Ghanaian Premier League shown it was rich. His CV for the league was rich, a league that is consistent and really well marketed, but he was excluded from this, and I think that is one of the reasons why Collins writes that way. And like I said, the fans, the fans of football, when we get hungry to an extent and we are not fed, it becomes a problem. And Ghana seems, when we talk about the 80s, when they lastly won the competition, it is true, they are thirsty, and I think they are dissatisfied because we mentioned the Ayu brothers who are gradually, like, for me, I would say they are out. They should give way to other players, and this is just some of the things I think when we have this idea in Cameroon that invisible hands control certain things in our football. It is almost a similar thing, because like I said, when you look at this young goalkeeper, this is somebody, I think, compared to one of their selected Richard Ofori, he stands a better chance of representing Ghana in Cameroon, but unfortunately he was not
called. So that actually confirms the message there of our callings all the way from Ghana. We have our Moma, who is watching us from the UK. And he is looking at Nigeria against Egypt, and tells us that Nigeria has lots of difficulties. Teke, you will be looking at that. But you, Mr. Enoako, let's come back to the Ghanaian situation. What do you make of a team going into a tournament like the AFCON without the support of the country? The fans basically are not behind the team, and for particular reasons cited, of course, in the text message sent to us by Collins there from Ghana. Without that support, Njore of Cameroon says le 12e joueur, that 12th player. Where are we headed?
Don't be surprised that the Ghanaian can also create a surprise, because I can tell you, in 2017, few people could vouch that Cameroon was going to emerge champion, and the players actually went with a lot of criticisms. Few persons could definitely bet in favor of Cameroon, and the team gradually got the fan base based on their performance on the pitch, day in, day out. A lot of people even got glamored for the sacking of Hugo Bros.
But at the end of the day,
we emerged champion. So Collins, yes, he has said, given some reasons based on the feeling of the people, but again, statistics can also prove that Ghanaians could also emerge champions. They could also go to the finals, even though as a Cameroonian I think that we want to win the trophy. But again, this is not the first time whereby a nation is going without the support of the fan base.
I mean,
this is not the first time. We've seen even scenarios where, remember, the Ivorians under the period of President Gay, when the Ivorians in the days of Bakayoko, when they didn't qualify for the finals, when they were knocked out, they actually received military treatment, which wasn't appropriate for football. So So we have seen a lot of scenarios where the players never got the backing, even the Guinean side. When you follow the message from President Doumbia,
who tells them that if you don't come back,
with the trophy, you are supposed to receive refund
every single dime that was spent. As far as you
now see that if that is not a positive message for players, so it therefore means that even the #1 man of the nation is so has a lot of negativity as far as lacks sportsmanship. So it's not only the Ghanaian team that is suffering from that issue. Other nations are also having a lot of. We have just talked about the Gabonese side. The
players themselves are seemingly not.
They want their match bonuses to be paid first. So that is also an issue that we can look at. So it's not only limited to the Ghanaian squad.
It's something that can spread through other squads. We have Prof. Abanda there, who has sent us a text message all the way from the legendary city of hospitality, that is Buea, chief town of the southwest region of Cameroon. We shall be coming to that text message, of course. Let's go to the message coming from the United Kingdom from our Moma, who says he is afraid Nigeria has got lots of difficulties manning up against the Pharaohs of Egypt. Jamian, Teke, what's your understanding of that text message? I mean, we have teams here with almost players at the same level, players with, of course, almost the same flair and talent. Don't you think that that looks to be a very equal encounter as far as that group is concerned?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for the Nigerians at one point in time against Egypt. They lost defenders like Balogun due to injury, but I think the Nigerians, they still have Chikwueze, who is a deadly striker. Yes, they might have lost Igalo, Oshmeng, as far as the team is concerned, but they still have the likes of Alex Iwobi, though he's facing some challenges with his career. Ever since he left Arsenal Football Club to Everton, he has not really been the Alex Iwobi, the rising star. He's the nephew of legend JJ Okocha. So he hasn't really been that player whom you can count on, but you have the man at the midfield, Wilfred Ndidi, who also can pose a threat to the Egyptian midfield, because when you have the likes of Mohamed El Nini, who will also be marshalling the midfield of Egypt. So it's going to be so tight for the two teams. Remember, I said the two teams, they have not actually got the fear factor in recent years. Egypt, since that golden generation of the Zidane's, Abutrika, Hassan and the rest, who won 3 consecutive titles, and the last Nigerian team to win under Victor Moses, Sondemba and the rest, Ngome Micheal. But when under the coach of Stephen Kechi, but since then they have not actually been performant. They only came close in 2019 when they finished third. So it's going to still be, the two teams have equal chances to actually top the pool. They are not the teams you talk about Nigeria in the 10th of the century, where they had the Wanku Kanu, Joseph Yobo, John Otaka, who were there, Okocha, like Egypt too. So it's a team that has a new generation of players whom I think they have an equal chance. Remember, I said Egypt, they come in with a one-man army, just like have Portugal, who comes in with a one-man army of Ronaldo. When Ronaldo scores, Portugal has scored. So that's the same thing that Salah will be bringing to the Egyptian side. So they have two equal chances. Like we go to the Ghanaian issue, which I want to throw some
it makes a lot of sense to come to the Ghanaian issue there, because it appears to be something that we actually would have loved to have the insights there of journalists out there in Ghana. We have Collins, who has come back to remind us of the fact that the said keeper, the panelist Ngome Micheal is talking about, shot himself out of the Ghanaian team. And according to the players who are even refusing to accept the call, players are invited from foreign countries, and these players are bench warmers in their club, and it's a very disturbing issue out there in Ghana. And
it's the same thing that with Cameroon. We have Chawamba, who plays for Saudi Arabia in the same league like Vincent Mubaka. He has scored 9 goals, but he was overlooked. We also had Jean Efala, who plays for Aqua United. He was called, But the goalkeeper, who is the first choice goalkeeper of Aqua United, was not called for the Nigerian squad. So how do you explain such a dichotomy as far as Cameroon football is concerned? But with the Ghanaians, ever since they sacked Charles Akuno, there was this law by the Ghanaians government to say that only home-based or nationals should lead the team. You have Apia, who was the former coach, and had Charles Akuno. But somewhere along the line, there was this loggerheads between the FA and the government at one point in time, because they disagreed on whether to hire a national or an expatriate. So that has always been to the problem between the that has emanated in the Ghanaian camp. You know, they have these worries. So I think the Ghanaians, like Enwako said, they might be a surprise team, because remember, like Gajevak coached this team, and when we got as far as the World Cup quarterfinals in 2010, and is coming back with some of these players like the Ayub brothers, who have gathered a lot of experience for the past 10 years. He might still reignite that energy to see that this team goes as far as the finals and lifting their first and their fifth trophy, and their first in over 40 years.
We'll be coming to you then, Ngome Micheal. We have this text message from Boya, but we will also conclude with that which is coming from the United Kingdom, from our Muma, who thinks that the Nigerian team is imbalanced and they have problems with the defense. Now, we still see it very glaring. But don't you think after maybe 1 or 2 games, these players can sort themselves out and stabilize and get to understand one another and cause a surprise in this tournament?
You know, when we talk of Nigeria in Africa, it's like you want to write Argentina or Brazil out in a tournament. You can never write Nigeria out, irrespective of the little issues they could have. Yes, it's just a temporary issue. Nigeria is a powerhouse in Africa, and there is just no way I will be expecting Nigeria to be booted out in the first round. Nigeria is one of those kind of nations that as we progress in the tournament, the momentum increases in the camp. So just like the female Falcons of Nigeria, where you have the likes of
Asisa Oshola.
Nigeria is a nation that you can never ride out. You have people like Ndidi. In Nigeria, just like Cameroon, they have a handful of players that they can stick out on. You could have the frontline striker who is not available, but you also have extremely talented players who are also
Leicester City's Ihanacho.
You have Ihanacho. If Igalo is not there, Ihanacho is going to deliver. If Ndidi is not there, someone else is going to deliver in the midfield.
But we are looking at their highest goal scorer in the last AFCON, who is absent and who had a very positive role to play. We are looking at his experience that would also be missing. We're coming now to Prof. Abanda's text message there, who says, good evening. Well, we know the official mascot of the Total Energies 2021 AFCON is called Mola. So all of us here, he has referred to us as Molas. He says, good evening, Mola Isah. Good evening, Mola Eno. Good evening, Mola Ndumbe and Mola Ngome. And he is extending fraternal greetings from Prof. Abanda Gustav. He says, to me, the top 4 teams are Cameroon, Algeria, Ivory Coast, Senegal, but Cameroon will stand tall on the podium.
I totally agree with him.
With Prof. Abanda?
I totally agree.
Cameroon standing tall on the podium?
Totally.
Don't you think that is too early, Mr. Eno?
No, Cameroon, the players know best how to manage the pressure, because the only thing we need at this point in time is to manage the pressure.
Talking about the pressure, we are looking at the Lions playing at home, and we know the pressure at home is different. You're not just playing because you want to win, you're playing because you are at home and you want to keep that clean sheet of never having a defeat on home soil. Do you see this current dispensation of players of the indomitable Lions live up to that fighting spirit and maybe even just come out of the tournament with draws?
Well, when you look at Cameroon, Consensao has set the pace with saying that we are going to go deep as well as the finals, but we have to know that we should not put pressure on ourselves as well as the players, because we all know what Cameroon is capable of, and as the tournament progresses, when we get to that place where we are satisfied, we the fans are satisfied, we will know. Remember, during the CHAN, we really looked at Team Cameroon, who had a lot of managerial crisis and even call-up problems before the competition. They had big problems, but when immediately they had that game over DR Congo, the atmosphere was calm. Because remember, in successive African Nations Championship, we had never gone through that stage, and a person who took us to that same stage took us again. So that is what I'm saying, that we have to know that Cameroon must not win AFCON 2021, but we should stand positive while hoping for the best, equally hope for, I will not say the worst, but something that will rub shoulders with it, saying that we hosted and we got to this point, and it is a positive remark for Cameroon.
We apologize there for cutting you, but of course we know we are also battling with the time factor, and we also have rounded off the program already, but we are extending a little bit because we have very salient issues to talk about as far as the Total Energies 2021 Africa Cup of Nations is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, this program Prime Sports comes up on this and every Thursday on the African Eye. We are talking about Prime Television, your reference point for sports in Douala, Cameroon, Africa and the world over. We've taken interest in the group stages in prelude to the tournament Cameroon is about to host in a couple of days, and it promises to be high fever and gear in Cameroon when, of course, the opening encounter sees the indomitable lions of the country take on the stallions of Burkina Faso. Well, as we plan to round off with today's edition of the program, we had planned to also bring you the list of the lions convened and kept by Antonio Conceição da Silva Oliveira's coach of the Indomitable Lions, but we of course handled that in some other aspects. We had also planned to look at the favorites, which we did. As far as today's edition of the program is concerned, we had also promised to look at the reinstatement of the veteran General Pierre Semenge and the LFPC, of course, the Cameroon Professional Football League, which would be coming back in no distant future, while we've had presidents of clubs, had meetings as well with the president of Cameroon Football Federation, Samuel Etofis, as well as the president of the LFPC. Cameroonian football lovers and fans can say they are left with a spirit and a feeling of optimism in build up to all of that and more. Very briefly, the panel is going to comment on the LFPC, which is coming back, and it promises to be very much a fine one. Mr. Enoako, there 2 minutes for you, looking at the LFPC coming back with General Pierre Semenge. Your reactions, is it a beautiful feeling? Are we still having old wine put in new containers?
You gave me how many minutes, Isah?
2.
I need just 2 seconds.
Okay, give us your take.
It's a shame.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Why would it be a shame?
Semenge has not been positive. Nothing, we have not gotten any positivity. Semenge since 2012. He was appointed in 2012. He went in for the second mandate. He was elected. He gave us his manifesto, the things that he was supposed to do. He said he was going to construct stadiums. We never saw any. He said he was going to raise 200 billion francs CFA from companies. Nothing was in the coffers. Match games were poorly planned, for which he had said games were going to be planned appropriately. But we saw a championship which was being interrupted. We have been in court rooms with LFPC. Consequently, it's a shame.
I mean, Mr. Enoako, the Teke Jamian, sees it as a whole shame, the reinstatement of General Pierre Semenge. But we have what many Cameroonians are referring to as a no-nonsense president, Samuel Etofis, who has already suspended the liaison officer of the Indomitable Lions. And we've also seen work hours at Fekafood changed 8 o'clock to this particular time. Lots of discipline seems to be coming into Fekafood with the coming of Samuel Etofis. Do you see changes? Do you see positivity with the league that is fast approaching?
I see it as a trap, which Eto'o has set for Semenge and Abdurrahman. You know, I said one of the challenges is that Eto'o should bring these warring factions together so that Cameroon football can move forward. Eto has the trap. I mean, he has set the trap. 50 million for the winner, 20 million per club, Elite 1 club, 10 million per Elite 2 club. This money will be given to someone like Abdurrahman Hamadu, Baba, and Semenge to dish out this club. Now, remember, Semenge still has one mandate. And don't be surprised.
1 year, not
1 year, yeah, 1 year. So don't be surprised that by the end of this current season, the club presidents might absent out. So it's a trap. We should look at the thing from a perspective which Eto is trying to play a kind of reconciliation game, but is
compensation as well.
He's trying to make it in such a way that these people will be ousted in such a way that they will not feel it.
They will not have persons to apportion blames on them.
Because if, let's say, if Abdurrahman at the end of the season goes to cast again, Eto will say you are part of the bureau, so you can't take yourself to court where you were part of. So that is where that's why I say it's a trap. Because should Eto not have appointed these two guys, Semenge was the case is already at CAS. So now Abdurrahman simply has also been given that position to do like reconcile between the LFPC and the Africa Food.
All right.
Now we are seeing that's why it's a trap. We will see that maybe by the end of the season that it will be a trap for the both of them.
Ngome Micheal, we are seeing reconciliation vis-a-vis a trap there, and it's difficult for us to really, arrive at a harmonization and to reconcile the facts. However, we have the league that is fast approaching. What should the fans be expecting? What should we see? Very little has been said about the press, and we are thinking of a league. We are thinking of a professional league that is coming again, and that would still be having very little visibility within the African landscape.
Well, the start of the program, I called myself a Benjamin, and this is one of the issues where I would not clearly pinpoint certain issues because it is, I would say, generational. You get the durations there. But when I look at it, the positivity coming from the Southwest region, where the president from the regional bureau there, and who also doubles as an executive at the national level, has this idea of a reconciliation. This is part of it here, and we are reconciling Cameroonian football. Samuel Eto'o is doing that. What I take key interest is the increase in the prize money, and most especially the 20 million awarded to Elite 1 teams. This is something where we know that football in Cameroon, most of the times, the club presidents have little fundings for this. But the problem is when we see 20 million, we think it's much money. I think for me, 20 million cannot keep a team playing good football for 2 months. For 2 months.
Paying players as well.
We are not talking of only purchasing players. I mean, just games. I don't think you leave Bamenda and go to the north, or you leave the east region and come to perhaps Bamenda or the west region to play games. That will not go for 2 months. So the issue is club presidents at their level should be able to take the 20 millions, add it to a chunk of money that they should have kept before the season, and finance their football. And equally, we should make sure that a calendar for Elite 1 should be ready. And when we talk about media partnerships that you mentioned there, we don't want to see an alleged, if I may put it that way, Feka Food, CRTV Sports, or whatever agreement signed on paper, and the final day of the league,
we don't have the matches on.
We have a shambolic performance and a presentation to the public, and we see it as a normal game, a final day game. And this issue of reinstating relegated clubs, I think the duration for the league and the period that we find ourselves in, it will be really difficult for some of these teams that struggled last season to come together and fine-tune their forces to keep this 25 team league operational. Right. But well, we are hoping the best, and looking forward to see that the league goes on smoothly, and we should have a place where when we run to for statistics, it comes out clear
and with a lot of credibility. We round up with this text message from the Gold Coast of Ghana, which says, "Good evening. Ghana is a nation not ready for the AFCON. The FA people are only concerned about how they will spend with the $5 million they got from the government. They will not even qualify for the group stage from Duantua, watching us all the way from Ghana. And we keep having Ghanaians joining us on board for particular reasons as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very grateful. You stayed with us, you hosted us in your different zones of comfort via the medium of your televisions set out there. Mr. Enoako, sports consultant, we are profoundly grateful you attended, you accepted our invite to be with us in today's edition of the program Prime Sports.
Thank you so much, Isah. My last word is for police officers who will be selling tickets probably in Limbe. Please, we need their support because we know who they are.
All right. Police officers, we need your support. The word from Mr. Enoako. Teke, we are grateful. You took on the journey from the southwest region to join us here in Douala today. It's an honor to have you, a fine sports brain on the program. Thank you very much for coming.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here again with Enoako and Ngome. We just hope that we enjoyed a very good AFCON in the southwest region. They are blessing of especially Tiko municipality to see players like Ben Mustafa, players like Hassan Siesi, Musa Barrow of the Gambia. So we are going to enjoy it, and we hope that the AFCON will come successfully, unlike the Shan that also passed successfully and the AFCON in 2016. All
right, and Ngome Micheal, it's also a beautiful honor to have you, Dream FM's sports journalist. You were with us. Thank you very much for coming. It's an honor. You also left the southwest region to be with us. Kilometers covered. Thank you. We are grateful.
Well, it is a great pleasure to start the new year with the likes of Coach Eno, and I think the AFCON is coming. We should be Cameroonians. We learn of hospitality. We should be receptive to strangers and equally give them something to remember when they leave Cameroon.
A message that goes to political opinion and other leaders in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how we saw it on today's edition of Prime Sport, on your reference point for sports in Cameroon, Africa, and the world over. As we take leave of you, remember to follow other programs on My Media Prime Television every day, 9:30 p.m. Douala time. We have a special program on the AFCON. Follow all the views, the update, the reviews, the slow motions, the cards, the decision as you get to watch that program that comes up every weekday, 9:30 p.m. on your reference point for sports and other very sensational information in Africa. We take leave of you from this corner. For presentation, my name has been Bishop Rene Isah. Do well to have a beautiful evening, and once more, Happy New Year.